everybody. Welcome to Mad Nice Morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm going to get right into it. Have you ever had the feeling of total freedom? Most of us have had a glimpse of this feeling, but it's often fleeting and only stays with us a little while. The good news is you have felt this exhilaration of total freedom before, and is very likely that you will feel this way again. There are many similar feelings that you may recognize that are in the same spectrum of total freedom, such as love, joy, appreciation, personal power, and the feeling of knowing that anything is possible. Yes, we feel this way every now and again, but can we stay in this good feeling longer? If the answer is yes, then how? I will explain to you how to stay longer in a great feeling, such as the feeling of total freedom, and I will reveal the benefits of doing so. Let me know how you feel about this information in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of videos like this one. Our emotions are constantly fluctuating, like a sine wave, going up and down. This is the reason that when we feel very good in the moment, it will not stay that way indefinitely. In addition, because of this wave like fluctuation in our emotions, the feeling of freedom and joy is usually accompanied by an opposing emotion. The depth of this opposing feeling is determined by our emotional balance or emotional control. If someone is very emotionally unstable, the feeling of freedom and joy can be accompanied by the feeling of depression and despair from one moment to the other. Life can feel like a roller coaster ride with unexpected twists and turns and exhilarating highs and devastating lows. This is the power of our emotions. Our emotions are responsible for our wonderful and blessed lives, and equally as responsible for our miserable and unpleasant lives. With this knowing, we can understand that if we are able to get a little control over our emotions, we can have a little bit more control over our lives as a whole. How can we control our emotions? And how can we avoid these humongous negative lows in our emotions? Let's go back to the roller coaster of emotions mentioned earlier. As the roller coaster is pulling you up slowly to the pinnacle of the ride, you feel excited in anticipation for the coming whirlwind of emotions to come beyond that pinnacle. Don't get me wrong, I love both the feelings of anticipation and the feeling of the whirlwind of emotions when on a killer roller coaster, but with this deliberate high excitement and high stress undertaking, I am completely aware that this ride will end. We must remember this roller coaster of life is on a continuous loop. If we stay on that emotional roller coaster too long, especially the high flying, nearly lose your mind ones, we can become sick from the turbulence. Now imagine this scenario. You are being pulled very high on your roller coaster of life. The higher you go, the more wonders and beauty you can observe down below. It's a relaxing climb that has small and exciting falls, but never very stressful and dangerous. You keep climbing and climbing until you're above the clouds. Up above the clouds, you have a clear vision of the future, and you know that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. You know that you can soar higher and that you will not be preoccupied by the lower level emotions and the heaviness that accompanies them. How do we get control of our emotions to allow us to soar higher in our lives? By noticing how we feel in every moment, bringing a little bit more awareness to our good or bad feelings in the moment. Here's an example. Is there someone in your life that gives you an unpleasant feeling when they are in your noticing how you feel when negativity is present is paramount to controlling your emotions. But we need not notice but we need to notice how we feel when we are feeling good as well. If by chance you feel excited or you feel like you have total freedom in the moment, it is important to notice and sit with that for as long as you can. By feeling the feeling of freedom and joy for extended periods of time or basking in the positive feeling, you raise your vibration or metaphorically climb above the clouds. What do I mean when I say raise your vibration? First, your emotions vibrate differently one from the other. They are on a vibrational scale where, for example, the feeling of anger vibrates differently than the feeling of blame, and it is better to be in blame than in anger. In the positive emotions, it is better to be in a state of appreciation than in a state of contentment. Please see this emotional scale in the description below. So, how do we raise our vibrations? Let's take the idea of a sine wave, and your emotions are constantly fluctuating from good feeling to less than good feeling, and then back to good feeling, etc. When you're on the good feeling spectrum and you sit in that good feeling longer and more deliberately, you hold yourself at that higher frequency and it will not dip as low as usual because it is more present in your consciousness. By sitting with the good feeling, you are helping your consciousness understand that this feeling is an option in every moment. And you will more easily go there if you choose. It's a kind of reprogramming of the subconscious mind. You will, however, get those emotional lows and less enjoyable feelings. But because you held yourself longer in that great feeling, instead of going very low, let's say into depression, you will go into impatience instead, because impatience is closer than depression to the vibration of joy. The more you are able to notice when you are feeling extra great and milking it, the less you dip into the very low and heavy emotions that can accompany. What eventually happens with this practice is that you no longer dip into negative feelings. You are vibrating so high that your sine wave fluctuates from love to contentment, to empowerment, to hopefulness, to joy, to enthusiasm, to appreciation, to optimism, to passion, to positive expectations, etc. So remember, notice how you feel. Number two, sit with that feeling. If that's a if it's a bad feeling, you have the intention to break away the negative mass of energy. If it's a good feeling, you have the intention to amplify and enlarge that vibration. Thank you. See you soon. Good vibrations.